was like hope, not before. Bringing back every single bit of fire. I let out all the things about it and finally the yelling was gone. Since we're not free from mistakes and we're living wide awake, you make me see what I miss. Keep going, don't stop it, girl. I think it's starting to show. We riding with our wheels off together, so I feel what you say. I like. Take me in your arms, man. Take me to the red zone. Take me to the moon and back alive. And everything is looking and it's feeling like the perfect night. And that's the sound I like.
All right, thank you all for tuning in to WJT 98.3 FM, your voice and music, your station. My name is Jeff Badu, and I'm a serial entrepreneur and a wealth multiplier. I'm the owner and founder of Badu Enterprises, which is a multinational conglomerate in the finance industry. What we do is we specialize in a suite of financial services, including tax preparation, financial consulting, credit repair, services of that nature. And today we'll be talking about essentially how to become successful in the tax preparation industry. You know, we'll ultimately be going over some different tips, tricks, just some chats about how is it that somebody who's running a tax firm or interested in a tax business can be successful. So I'm giving you some tips and tricks of things that I've learned over the 9 years that I've been preparing taxes and things of that nature. But before we get into that, we'll like to kick it off with a market report. This report is as of October 11, 2019. So we'll just go ahead and go through the report now. So essentially what happened was that last week President Trump said that the United States and China had reached a substantial phase one agreement, which is good news for investors. But they reached a phase one agreement to resolve the trade war between the economic giants. Essentially, the United States agreed to hold off on the imposition of additional tariffs on Chinese imports, while China agreed to ramp up the imposition of additional tariffs on while China agreed to ramp up the purchase of U.S. agricultural products. By the prospects of a further trade accord, investors dove into the market, sending each of the indexes listed essentially higher by the close of the trading last week. Both the Dow and the NASDAQ rose almost 1%, followed by the Russell 2000 and the S&P 500. However, the biggest mover was the global Dow, which surged over almost 2%. With money moving to stocks, gold and 10-year treasuries saw their respective prices slip. Oil prices have gone up $53.01 per barrel to $54.77 per barrel. And then the price of COMEX gold went down $15.10.30 per ounce to $14.91.70 per ounce. And then so far this year, the Dow Jones is up 14.96%. NASDAQ is up 21.43%. The S&P 500 is up 18.49%. And the Russell 2000, 12.11%. Last but not least, global Dow up 10.39%. Federal fund rate is at 1.75% to 2%. And the 10-year treasuries are 1.75%. So welcome to the show, Money Talks, where all we talk is money. Definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. We are live on Facebook, and if you would like to chime in, you can go live on my Facebook page at Jeff Badu, JEFFBADU. You can also call into the studio line 773-942-7167. Once again, 773-942-7167. I'd like to give a few shout outs. We got Cosby Michaels. He said, "Do your thing, bro. Let's talk about money." Absolutely. All we talk here is money and nothing else. And then we have Sade. We have Sade here, which she said, "Hey, Jeff." And hey to you, too. I appreciate all the shout outs. So essentially, today we'll be talking about how to ensure that you have, essentially, how to ensure that you're successful as a tax professional. This is an industry. This is an industry where it can be tough. It can be very tough, as there's a lot of players in the industry. It's very easy to get in, very low barrier to entry. So it's one of those where you really have to know what you're doing in order to become successful. And my goal by the end of this presentation is that for those listening, will at least gain an interest in the industry if you're not already in the industry. And if you are in the industry, hopefully these tips and tricks will help you thrive and grow your business a little bit more. So essentially, and now I'll be sharing it from the perspective of my firm, which is Badu Tax Services, a tax firm that specializes in tax preparation, planning, and representation for individuals and businesses. So we'll just go through that. So essentially how this is going to go. Remember, if you have any questions, any comments, you can feel free to chime in. Streaming live on Facebook. We'll be talking about the firm. So I'll be giving you a deeper introduction about my firm, who we are, how we came about, all that good stuff. Talk about the tax preparation industry as a whole. So just giving you some insights from industry reports, things of that nature. We'll talk about some different opportunities that are available in the tax preparation industry. Some different ways you can make money if you become a part of this industry. And then we'll give a quick shout out to the firm as far as what we're doing, as far as how we're getting people into the industry and teaching people how to really thrive as tax professionals. So a little bit about the firm. So the company that I run as a part of Badu Enterprises, one of the big companies, is Badu Tax Services, which once again is a tax firm that specializes, it's a multinational, we're in a lot of countries. We specialize in tax preparation, tax planning, and tax representation services for individuals and businesses across the U.S. So we have clients in all 50 states right now. And also we have clients in about six or so-ish countries in the world right now. And yeah, thanks for the correction, Sade. I believe that's how you say the name. Sorry. It's been a long day. All right, so the firm's mission is to help individuals or help people maximize their financial security. Essentially, what we plan to do is when we find tax savings, right, our first job is to help you identify tax savings. We want to help you get compliant with the IRS. If you get in trouble with the IRS, we'll help you get out of trouble, to the best of our abilities, of course. We don't do anything illegal. We don't do anything out of boundaries or anything like that. We are by the book, and our job is to make sure that if we identify tax savings, we help you multiply it into more wealth, where we introduce you to our other services, such as financial coaching, real estate investing, things of that nature. So not only are we a tax firm that helps you with your tax services, but we actually expand to a broader range of financial services. That's what Badu Enterprises, that's where the enterprise comes in, where you get that full-blown experience. The firm is 100% owned by myself. So I'm actually the sole owner of the company. However, we have a lot of people that run and operate the company. We utilize industry-leading technology to provide efficient and effective tax services, including we have a state-of-the-art mobile application where you can essentially send us your documents through the application, right on the phone. Whether you're watching a movie, whether you're in your joggers, whatever you decide, you can basically prepare or have your taxes prepared at the tip of your fingers. We utilize a tax software that allows everything to be electronic. We also use things such as Gruntworks that helps take data and break down the data and import it into the software. So we have a lot of efficiencies within the process. we also have a very centralized process. Everything is centralized. If you send us documents, it goes to the same unit. All documents go to the same unit. They get prepared by a team. They get reviewed by a team, and then the back end team, or the team that finalizes everything, handles that. So everything is very centralized. We have a process. It's more like, imagine, Henry Ford back in the day, or Ford Motors. When they're building a car, they have an assembly line. So we basically have the same process where everything is centralized. We even have a call center. So, basically, if you call, for example, if you call at this time, there's certain times where you get rerouted to a receptionist, for example, and then a receptionist will try to route your call to the appropriate individual within the company. We also operate with virtual assistants. So if, for example, some of my emails, you might see that a virtual assistant might respond. So we provide all those different things. Ultimately, we wanted to create a very fast, easy, convenient, effective process in order for people to get their taxes done. That's all we were looking, just to go even further. This vision started 9 years ago when I was a freshman in college at the U of I, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. I started doing more research around the industry, and then I started doing taxes for people for free. Whether it's friends, family, colleagues, whoever it was, I started volunteering, did it for free, even paid some people to do their taxes. Was able to gain so much experience, so much exposure, that to the point where when I started my firm 3 years ago, everything was pretty much in place. Of course, I made mistakes along the way. For example, my pricing. Since everything was done for free, I did not have a good price for the product or for the service. So that's where I struggled the most, was how do I price the service to the point where, everybody is benefiting while not feeling like they're being cheated or anything like that. So ultimately, this is a firm that it's a very digital, a very global, very virtual company. 95% of what we do is virtual. It's digital. You don't ever have to come in person or anything like that. Brick and mortar, that's the thing of the past. And the firm has 4 main competitive advantages. The first one I already talked about, where we're a virtual company. A lot of companies in the tax prep industry are brick and mortar, meaning you have to come to the office, and that's a thing of the past now. People aren't looking to come into offices anymore to do their taxes. They're just looking for the most convenient experience ever, and I knew this when I read the industry report 9 years ago. So I knew what was going to happen in this industry, and it's happening today, and it's happening even more. It's putting some people out of business. Some people are retiring, and some of these big companies, are actually going to be out of business pretty soon. And our job is to buy them and implement our model into into their system. So that's the first competitive advantage, is we're up to date when it comes to the industry. We're very digital, very virtual company. Second competitive advantage is we focus on educating our clients. So we do things such as newsletters. We have things such as this radio show. We do workshops. We do client, appreciation. We do a lot of different things for our clients or for prospects. Anybody who's looking to gain knowledge on taxes, we have plenty of it available. And it's all free. All the education, all the knowledge we provide is free. What we charge are when you come in for a consultation, a one-on-one. That's where we assess our fees and things of that nature. But anything to the public is always free. So we educate our clients heavily because, for one, taxes are very complicated. So you really have to understand even a little bit about taxes. You don't have to be an expert, but you do have to understand something about it. That way it makes your life easier. It makes the preparer's life easier. It makes everybody's life easier. So that's the second competitive advantage. The third one is that we have access to anyone you need among your network as far as finances are concerned. If you need a financial advisor, a financial coach, we offer that in-house. If you need a credit repair specialist, we offer that in-house. Property tax, appeal, whatever you need that's related to money, we will be able to provide it. So we have access to basically anyone. We even run a life insurance company. in-house. Last but not least, we have longevity. The average age for an accountant or a CPA is about 60 years old. I personally would not feel comfortable working with somebody who's 60 years old, approaching retirement, knowing that I want a long-term relationship, somebody to look at my books, all that good stuff. I would probably want somebody who's more fresh, who's more, up to date. That's just me personally. I always put myself in the shoes of the consumer, and look at things that the consumer would want, or what would I want if I was to seek out the expert. So ultimately, we wanted to provide that experience where you have longevity. And God forbid if something happened to me today, I have other people in the firm that can easily run the firm. Maybe not as effective as I can. However, they can certainly run the firm to a pretty good extent. So I've already trained people. I've already taught people how to run this company without me actually being present. So that's always something very important when you're dealing with a company for any service. You want to make sure if that person you're working with leaves or something happens, that there's at least somebody in line that can take over and be able to provide that excellent expert quality service that you're looking for. So those are 4 competitive advantage reasons why clients decide to go with our firm versus other firms. We have industry-leading marketing tools. We utilize sites such as Yelp, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook. We utilize them all. We use a lot of marketing, lots and lots and lots. Basically half of what we do every day is marketing, sales and marketing. We're always out selling. We're always out getting new clients. We're always out doing something. And also, we have clients in all 50 states at the moment. Every single state we have a client in, as well as about 6 different countries. We're always expanding and going into more, but ultimately, we're a global, we're a multinational company as opposed to a national company. Now, a little bit, so that's about the firm itself, about Badu Tax Services, what the firm is about, how it came about, all that good stuff. Now, let's talk about the industry. So what about the tax preparation industry? What are some of the things, what are some of the opportunities? How can you thrive as a tax professional, somebody who's looking to advance in your career? I will be quoting IBIS World. IBIS World is a site, it is an industry-leading website that allows you to pull industry reports. So this report will be referencing IBIS World report for the tax preparation industry in the U.S., specifically in the U.S., for 2019. So the tax preparation industry in the U.S. is an $11.3 billion industry, meaning that you have the opportunity to make potentially $11.3 billion. That's essentially the profit, or that's the market share. That's how much dollars are available for you to make in this industry. It has a 3.4% annual growth rate, meaning that every year you would grow at about 3.4%, or the industry is growing at about 3.4%. It's dominated by a few firms, including H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, and TurboTax, or TurboTax is owned by Intuit. Now, here's the secret. I actually own shares in all of these companies that you see except for Jackson Hewitt. H&R Block and TurboTax, Intuit, I personally own shares in them. So I know the ins and outs of what they go through. These are all publicly available information. Now, remember, there's a saying that, learn from your own mistakes, or a wise man not only learns from the mistakes of himself, but he learns from the mistakes of others. So I created this company off of this research, and I'm like, okay, these companies are doing pretty good. I can definitely learn for some of the things they're doing well, and I can implement them. That way I avoid making my own mistakes. And I was like, okay, what about the mistakes they're making? What mistakes is Intuit making? What mistakes is H&R Block making? So there's plenty of flaws with some of these companies. And I'll give you an example. Brick and mortar. A few of these companies I just named have brick and mortar locations that are on leases that are as long as you'll ever live. So with that being said, they're forced to do everything by, a client always has to come in. It incurs rental costs. There's so many costs that are associated with the owners of these companies that they push it upon the consumer. So that's one thing to note about some of these companies. They have flaws. Everything is more brick and mortar. Now, some of these companies did move to online, but they still have this brick and mortar because they're stuck in these leases and things of that nature. So what we wanted to create was a digital company that can combat some of these things. We didn't want to become brick and mortar. If you'll notice, companies like JP Morgan Chase shutting down branches left and right. So we didn't want to go through that. We learned from that mistake. Don't have a brick and mortar location. If you are, make sure it's relatively inexpensive, something you can easily get out of. So now we operate out of home offices, for example. We don't have a big, giant corporate office anymore. We used to have a big office, or we used to have something similar to an office, but we quickly realized that it needs to just shut down. And anybody who comes into our firm, we tell them that specifically: do not get an office. This is not the industry where things are by paper or in person anymore. It's 95% of my meetings to this day are virtual. So just something to keep in mind. So the industry is moving to more online, digital, virtual. We're similar to retail, like Amazon. This industry is turning into the Amazon, basically, or the Uber, or whatever you want to call it, where it's revolutionary. We're not brick and mortar. We're not, we're becoming more of a digital industry now. So one thing to keep in mind: if you're looking to start a tax firm and you're thinking about opening an office, you might want to reconsider that heavily, because you might be wasting money. It's nice to see clients face to face and all that good stuff, but hey, that's why they have Zoom. That's why they have Skype. That's why they have phones. All these things were created for us to be able to prepare these taxes virtually. Now, so that's a bit about the industry. It's a fabulous industry. And I knew this report. This report is pretty consistent, actually. So 9 years ago, these numbers were fairly similar. I did my research 9 years ago, and I built my firm 3 years ago. And I knew these things were going to happen. The report tells you. So before you start any business, remember, 5 steps to starting any business. Step 2 is to research the industry. Step 3 is to build a business plan around that research, which is exactly what I did. Now let's talk about some career opportunities within the tax industry. So in my firm specifically, now when I first started, I made a lot of mistakes. I wasn't charging clients. I didn't know what to charge clients. I didn't have anybody who I could look to and say, "Hey, teach me how to do taxes." I was doing everything on my own, voluntarily. I was just learning everything I could. So what I decided was, you know what? Why not give people an opportunity to be able to start something like what I did? However, they can become 6 years advanced. The mistakes that I made 9 years ago, the person would not make if they were starting a business today. So basically, I started a program, an independent contractor program, where I allow people to run their own independent tax firms or practices within my already existing practice. So what this allows you to do is it allows you the opportunity to be independent, completely independent. You don't have to work in an office. You don't have to report to anybody at any time or anything like that. You're completely 100% independent. You have the ability to work from home, wherever you want, a cafe, wherever you want, anywhere that has internet and you have a computer, you can do this. You have the ability to manage your own clients. Once you get clients, those are your clients. So just something to keep in mind there. And then you receive state-of-the-art training and back office support. We offer plenty of training. As a matter of fact, before you join the firm, before you join my firm, this program that we have, you have to go through at least 10 hours of training. Free, by the way. We don't charge for this training. At least 10 hours of training that teaches you about taxes and about the industry. So before anybody joins the industry, anybody joins our firm, they have to go through at least 10 hours of this training, whether you're an intern, independent contractor. This is more specifically for independent contractors. You get your own business cards. You get entrepreneurship coaching. So we actually have, so myself, I'm a coach, and I also have my coach, the person that coaches me, coach my folks as well. So we provide training on how to actually run a business, not just how to do taxes. Remember, this is a business that you're running. So we're going to teach you how do you actually run a business. And then you have the ability to leverage, this is something very important. You have the ability to leverage other businesses such as life insurance, credit repair, real estate, whatever you decide to do. We allow you to be 100% independent. You don't ever have to listen to anything we say. You don't ever have to do anything that we want you. I mean, there's certain things, of course, before you even join the firm, but once you become a part of the firm, you're independent. And at a certain point, you even get to choose your own tax software. That's how lenient we are when it comes to this type of platform. Preferably cloud-based. It's best to be cloud-based, meaning that you can log in from anywhere at any time in the world. So just something to keep in mind. So it's an opportunity that I wish existed when I started back 9 years ago, or even when I started my firm 3 years ago. I wish somebody could have taught me all these things and helped me really, really thrive as a tax professional. Instead, I had to do things on my own. I made mistakes along the way, mistakes that I had to learn from, while I could have learned from somebody else's mistakes. Of course, you can go out, start your own thing, do your own, God bless you. However, if you're looking for an already existing platform that can teach you everything and advance you 9 years, 20 years at a time, I think that's going to help you grow in your career and help you thrive even further, especially if you have something such as a full-time job or something that's keeping you busy. Now, let's talk about the compensation structure specifically with the firm. So in our firm, we're very lenient. Remember, very, very lenient. Badu Tax Services is a very lenient, laid-back company. With the compensation, you get to keep, in your first year, you get to keep 70% of the tax prep fees. So let's say you file a tax return for a client, and you charge that client $100. Let's just use round numbers. Our average for individuals, we charge about $250. That's the average. For business, we charge about $500. So for every individual tax prep client, let's say hypothetically you made $100, you get to keep $70. The firm keeps $30, to handle administrative costs and things of that nature. In the second year, you get to keep 75%, so your commission actually increases. And then if you're a quote-unquote super performer, one who has attained at least 25 clients in their first year, who can demonstrate running their own business with limited support, has the proper credentials such as a CPA, EA, or enrolled agent, or attorney, and then has the ability to offer other lines of services such as tax representation, and then you also have the ability to, prepare business tax returns. So if you fall into this category, you're what's called a super performer. You get to keep 85% of your revenue in the second year of joining the company. Second, and anytime I say second year, I mean second, third, fourth. As many years as you join. Remember, you're not sealed into some lifetime contract or anything like that. Contracts are usually on an annual basis and can be canceled at any time, with certain stipulations such as non-competes and all that good stuff. But you're free to do whatever, basically. One thing about us, we don't hold you we will hold you accountable for certain things, but we don't hold you against anything. So remember, tax prep fees can range anywhere from $150. The minimum we charge for tax returns are $150, and the maximum for individual is about $1,000. For business, our maximum is about $2,000 that we charge for a business tax return. So if you have, for example, a real estate investor, if you have somebody with complicated taxes, you can charge them about $1,000. If it's a business, they're pretty complicated. You can charge them about $2,000. Of course, as it gets more complicated, you can charge them even more. And then we do a 50% discount for undergraduate college students, just to, cut them some slack. and we want to establish relationships with our clients. We're very relationship oriented. We're not the firm that you work with for 1 year, 2 years. We're the firm you work with for life, and your family works with us. That's the type of platform we're looking to create, and that's what we teach our people, how to build that long-lasting relationship with the client, unless it's not a desirable client. Maybe the relationship isn't working out too well. So in order to become a part of this firm, so you've heard all the things that I've just said. You might be like, wow, this is something interesting. This is something that I need to become a part of. Some requirements are you should have some type of interest in taxes. I mean, if you're about to get in this, remember, this is something we want you to be in it for life. We don't want you to just do this 1 year, 2 year. You don't have to, but we want you to be committed to this. So we would expect that you have interest in this field, preferably some knowledge about taxes. It's okay if you don't, but preferably some knowledge. And then it's not required, but it is preferred that you have some type of credential or license, such as a CPA, EA, although not necessary. You do not have to have a license in order to prepare taxes anymore. The IRS lost a court case that disallowed them to require a license to prepare taxes. You do have to pass a background check. That is absolutely required. Everybody in my firm goes through a background check unless they have a CPA or EA license. You have to demonstrate a willingness to learn. You have to be coachable. I've gone through this for 9 years now. I can teach you a lot. I can show you how to become a 6-figure, 7-figure, whatever figure you desire to become. I can teach you all of those things. You don't have to go anywhere else. Just be patient, be confident, and all that good stuff. The one thing that we do require is a $100 enrollment fee, and that enrollment fee is to run your background. So it's to conduct the background check, is to order your first set of business cards, give you some marketing materials, such as flyers, things of that nature, and other admin costs such as your email. You will get a firm email address, all that good stuff. So the $100 is more of an investment in order to really get you in the game. We're not a franchise. We don't require some big $50,000, $20,000 franchise fee. No, we don't do that. Simply $100 just so we can, run your background and all that good stuff. So please don't see this as a cost or anything like that. This is just an investment that you're making. So if for example, let's say that you're interested in something like this and you're like, okay, wow, this is something that I need to become a part of. You can set up a follow-up call with me. My number is 773-679-7198. Once again, 773-679-7198. You can email me at jb@badutaxservices.com. jb@badutaxservices.com. You can also visit my personal website, jeffbadu.com, jeffbadu.com. So you can reach out to me anywhere you want, but usually what most people do is they set up some sort of follow-up call, or they send me a message, a note saying, hey, I'm interested. You do have to go through a 10-hour basic tax training, which is virtual, of course. Everything we do is virtual, so it's only right that we do this virtually. It's not a timed or anything. It's at your own pace. It's self-learn. It's an e-course or whatever you want to call it. It's all online. You log into a website, you go through the training. There's no exams, no tests, none of that stuff. Just strictly for you to gain some knowledge and for you to show interest. And then you would go through, so once you've successfully gone through the training, then you reach back out and say, okay, I'm done with the training. I'm ready for the next step, which is the back check. You will receive an agreement, an independent contractor agreement, in order to start with the firm. Once you do that, then you have to obtain what's known as a PTIN, or a Prepared Tax Identification Number, with the IRS. Used to be free, but now they charge $50, which will cover, we can cover for you. No questions asked, no problems. And then you also go through more advanced training. So we'll go through more more technical stuff, more sales, how to get clients and all that good. We'll teach you all of that stuff. And and also, and then what's next after that? You begin marketing and making money. That's really it. So if you have any questions, comments, best ways to reach back out to me, 773-679-7198. You can shoot me a text. You can call me. You can email me, jb@badu taxservices.com. This is a great opportunity. I think that if something like this was around, I personally would take advantage of it. I would jump all over it, especially with such low entry barrier. I mean, and even $100. If you're like you really don't have the $100. I mean, we have an individual in the firm who did not have the $100, and this man is doing serious numbers. I believe he's almost approaching the 6-figure mark as far as tax prep revenue that he's making. So just doing taxes, imagine $100,000 a year, just preparing tax returns. And once you start doing it, you'll get into the hang of it. It becomes like clockwork. You can have a team of people doing it for you. You can have an assistant. You can do whatever you want. Basically, we teach you. We'll give you the model. We'll give you the system. We'll give you everything you need. But we allow you to do whatever it is you desire to do. We allow you to set goals. Hey, I want to make $10,000 this year. I want to make $100,000. I want to make $1 million this year. We'll teach you how to get to that level. Of course, it takes work. It takes time. It takes dedication. It's not something that's overnight. This is not an overnight success. This is not some get-rich-quick scheme. This is definitely not a pyramid scheme where they call it MLM, multi-level marketing. No. You do not get paid for recruiting people. This is not that type of company. This is a company where you're providing a service to people in order to assist them and help them. And then you can expand it into other services if you want. Now, if you want to build your own tax team, you could do that, and you can pay those people yourself. But the firm itself does not compensate anybody for "quote unquote" bringing in people. This is not that type of business. Imagine it as your real estate brokerage, where you have a managing broker who hires brokers and teaches them how to sell real estate. It's similar to that, but we do a lot more than that. We give you a full-blown platform where you'll be surprised at some of the things that you'll find out at such a low, inexpensive cost. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's like, imagine it's basically like owning a McDonald's franchise, but not having to pay the franchise fee. That's the type of training that we put you through. This is serious stuff. And this year, we're only looking to have 19 independent contractors. We've already had 2 people this year who've signed the contract. We were expecting a lot more people to sign their contract. So we're only offering 19 contracts this year to folks, so newcomers. And throughout the history of the firm, we've only had 1 person who's left the firm in the 3 years that we've been in existence. So it's a serious business, serious commitment. But it's something that I know that if you're interested, if you want to get in, if you want to learn more, we will provide you everything you need to know. You will never feel left out. You will have a team of people behind you. We do, for example, tomorrow we do we're doing a happy hour to celebrate the end of the extension season where, so we do things like that. We do weekly trainings, monthly trainings. We do coaching calls, all that good stuff. And you'll be surprised. You don't have to pay anything for any of this stuff. So just an opportunity. So I've done this video, similar something to this last month. I also did it about 2 years ago. And we'll be doing one last one via join.me next month as our last one. That's our last, our last opportunity for people to really, really take this serious. So remember, so currently the firm, we have 21 people in the firm, of which 11 are independent tax preparers that prepare their own taxes or do basically, they're independent contractors. And we're looking to bring in 19 more for a total of 30 because I only have the capacity to teach 19 more people. I still run the firm. I still do other things, and I can't coach that many people. So right now, I only have the capacity to bring 19. There's a reason why we limit it at 30 total. So that's essentially some tips and tricks about the tax prep industry. Remember, whether you decide to become a part of our platform or not, this is something you can apply in your own business model or whatever you decide to do. And understanding that these industries are going virtual, they're becoming digital. It's not the whole brick and mortar in person. So if an industry is going a certain way, you want to make sure that you're going that way and you're adding even more. That's how you stand out. That's how you become the best at what it is you do. And we plan within the next 10 years, we plan to become the #1 tax firm in the world as far as global impact and as far as revenue. So that's a big goal, big target. Our, let's call it 2030 target, is to become the #1 tax firm in the world. So this is something that we're taking it very, very seriously. So we welcome anyone to the platform. I would say good luck. This is not an easy process by any chance, or by 10 hours of training. You have to give up 10 hours of your time before you even get paid a penny. I think that's a serious investment. Remember, this training is free. However, it requires time investment. The reason why we do that is because we want to see who's serious, who can get through 10 hours. If you can get through 10 hours of training, I think you can get through a lot in life. So that's why we force people to go through that in order to become a part of the firm, because we want people who are serious, who are willing to make serious investments, not financially, but time, effort, energy, all that good stuff. And that's why we've had such a successful retention rate in our firm. And even with our clients, our client retention rate is about 80%, which is pretty high for a tax firm, especially. So that's essentially it. Remember, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm pretty much always available. Just don't call me after midnight, because that's the time I go to bed. That's my only request anytime I speak or anything like that. So definitely thank you guys for tuning in to WJC 98.3 FM, your voice, your music, your station. As usual, this is recorded, so it'll be it'll be posted on my Facebook page as well as my YouTube channel. If you have any questions, remember, don't hesitate to reach out to me, whether on Facebook, Twitter, wherever you find me. My direct line is 773-679-7198. Email is jb@badutaxservices.com. WGAC is a 501c3 non-for-profit. So if you are looking to receive tax deductions, anything like that, you can always donate to the station, WGATFM.org. Basically the end of the year is coming up pretty soon, so I'm sure some people need some tax deductions. All donations are tax deductible to the station. So thank you all for tuning in to WJC 98.3 FM, your voice and music, your station. My name is Jeff Badu, and I look forward to delivering you all some content. Thank you.
I'm a teaser and a pleaser, #1 bedroom love teaser.